Welcome back to another Gaming Memories video. Here we're taking a look at an off-road racer, bike racer known as VMX Racing. This game was actually released on the PlayStation roughly around late 97, early 1998. And I remember actually seeing this game actually in magazines as it was being heavily advertised back in the day. As back then there wasn't too many arcade based kind of like off-road bike type games where you could drive around and go off-road like on like say motocross bikes and so forth. So it was kind of interesting to see it. Now I will admit, like when I seen the graphics on the game, I was intrigued by it because I liked the likes of the colours and stuff like that, but I never actually got the opportunity to actually play it really back in the day. I remember it wasn't until later on, actually up until a couple of years ago, where actually we did get to play it. Now there was definitely better games out there on the market as the PlayStation went on, but this was definitely one of the earlier games. And it's definitely more arcadey, but I will admit, from the first playthrough of it looked pretty cool. I did like the look of it. Graphically, like I said, there is better games out there, but the one thing I will say that kind of put me off straight away was the fact that it's like for an off-road racing game, you can't even go off-road. As soon as you even hit a blade of grass, there's no the collision detection on the game is actually terrible. Yeah, once you stay on the main track, you're fine. But the second you go off-road or you even hit a blade of grass or even go on the sides like that, you go completely flying off the bike, which is not, you know, what an off-road game should actually be. You should be able to at least lose a bit of time and go off different points that even just slows you down, but not to completely crash the bike. So it is very, very unrealistic that way. And I found that the longer I played it, it actually got more and more frustrating because there was so many opportunities for making silly mistakes. And literally as soon as you would respawn, within 2 seconds of your respawn, and as soon as you move the bike even 2 feet, you crash again. And you could literally be stuck in the same spot for about 30 seconds, if not more, before you would actually be able to actually get back into the race, which by then the race would be over because everybody would start lapping you, which was very, very frustrating. It's definitely one of the poorer characteristics of the game, which is a pity because I did like the concept of it, and it's quick, it plays very, very fast. But it's just the collision detection is what ruins it here, in my opinion, which is a pity. But then it was like it was an early kind of motocross game, so again, these type of games here, they were testing with new waters, they were trying different things, and it's a case where they don't always get it right. And this was an example of that here. So it is what it is. Now, when I could get the hang of it, I find more so on more the smaller type tracks where you're in like kind of enclosed environments, coliseums, which I'll show you now in a few moments. I found those races to be a little bit easier because you could literally you wouldn't crash as much. It's just in these more open environment type tracks you would crash literally all the time, and it was very, very hard to get back into a race. Like you can see here, I'm so far behind here that I literally was lapped 2 or 3 times in the one race because I couldn't really grasp the layout of the track, and anytime I did get a bit of a good run, I would crash instantly, and the game would just completely throw you off, so you'd be completely lost as to where you were actually going, which was a pity. So whatever momentum that you would actually have gained, it would literally be destroyed as soon as you crash. So that's what was frustrating. But again, a lot of these games back in those days, it was all about experimentation. A lot of these games, a lot of them were quite new, so they were just trying different things out. It's not to say it's a bad game, it's just in a lot of ways it could have been better. There was definitely better motocross games out there that definitely have better features and better physics and mechanics. That wouldn't be as equally frustrating, like literally like you're crashing like and everything, which is not the whole premise of an off-road game. You should be allowed to even go off the track even a little bit. There's like literally no room for error at all, so that's what makes this very, very difficult, which I did find extremely frustrating. So here we're actually on one of the other tracks in the game, like, which is inside like kind of like an arena or coliseum type environment. And again, you will crash a bit in it, but it's nowhere near as bad as the likes of the outdoor tracks like I showed previously. At least you could actually get a good run at it, and in fairness I was able to stay within the top 3 for most of the race, even regarding the crashes, so even you could actually get back into the game. You weren't so far behind that you were just literally just being lapped. This here you could at least get a good run at it. So I found that when I actually started to play it, I actually was starting to get into it a bit more. I will admit, when you're going over the jumps and that, because it can be very fiddly, it can completely sometimes just completely throw you off the track, and it's very, very hard to control exactly where you're going to land, I will admit. So because the game's going that fast, sometimes it's very hard to react to where everything's going to go. But again, I kept playing it. I kept saying, right, I'm going to give it a go and persist with it, and I was actually kind of getting into it. I was actually enjoying this race now, I will admit, because I was actually getting somewhere, and it was okay. But it's just, again, it's just the collision detection, as you can see there, it's just terrible. And sometimes the game spawns you completely in an awkward situation where you're not even facing the direction of the track, and as soon as you go off again, straight away you're going to crash. So that literally just destroys your time. So it does. So that can hamper you, and that there particular moment there is what caused me to lose the race in the first place, because I actually had gained a good bit of a lead, but because the camera kept messing me up, it kept respawning me in stupid areas, it caused me to pretty much to lose time, and then I lost the race as a result. I was still able to stay within second place, but again, as you can see here, it constantly does it at certain times where it just throws you off. That's one of the major gripes with the game. The collision detection and the way the camera, when you're respawned, is definitely an issue. But from when I was playing it took a while to really get used to the controls, I will admit, but you can get some playability out of it, you can get some enjoyment out of it once you figure it out. But again, it's a difficult game to play, and it's not the easiest game to pick up and play, I'll admit. And if you're easily frustrated, and especially with games like this here where they do glitch out and you have very little terms of or room for error in terms of the collision detection, it can possibly be a game maybe that you should avoid altogether. But again, it's totally up to yourself and how you see it. So what are your experiences with this game? Have you played VMX Racing? What are your thoughts of it? Did you find it frustrating and hard to play, or did you enjoy it? Let me know then in the comments below. So if you have enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to be updated whenever I release future videos, as I will be exploring other games like this and create more videos around them to share my thoughts and memories and so forth. And until next time, make sure to keep playing those classic games and enjoying them, and make sure to keep those gaming memories alive.